Kia ora. I'm just going to run through how I like to sharpen my blade on my pruners. It may not suit everyone, but to me it would be a good starting point for you, especially if you're a learner and you're trying to learn how to sharpen these things, and then maybe later on down the line you'll find something that's comfortable for you. So it's just a starting point, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I got a little diagram here so I can explain things a little bit better, or so everyone can get an understanding of it. If we can imagine, this is the blade. So what we have here is the top. Okay, we have the bottom. This is what's up against the hook, and it's bolted together. Here is the face. This is what opens up the branch. Alright, this is your face, and this is your edge. So this is the sharpest part of the blade. So if we were to have a look at the blade, I've got an old blade here. If you could imagine cutting this piece off down that dotted line, so we've cut this piece off, we are looking into the blade with these pictures, with these diagrams. We're looking into the blade. Okay, so saying that, I'll come down to my first pick. This is how I like my pruners sharpened. Okay, I like a small edge. The reason I like it is because when it first cuts the branch and the cut goes in, it only goes in a little bit before the wood gets onto that face, right? And then the face does the rest. The face opens up that branch, okay, right until it cuts right through the back end. So I like a small edge for that reason. There's another reason that I like it too, and I'll explain it when it comes around. So if we're looking at this blade, I like this edge, this one right here, barely a mil, and I don't like it to have it any thicker than that. Okay, so that's that one there. Now when I first started pruning, wasn't really shown how to sharpen pruners. This is what I used to do. I used to have no edge. Okay, so this face and all the way down, bang, no edge on it, no little slight edge at the end. Now I soon found out that when I accidentally crossed them, I ended up putting a big chip at the tip here. And the reason for that big tip is because the steel at the end is thin. So it starts off at its thinnest right at the tip, and then it keeps going thin all the way up until the steel gets thicker and thicker. Okay? So where that chip is, where that chip would happen is where the edge of the steel was really thin, and then it'll stop where it's thick. So this is the result. If you can imagine that piece chipped out, that black piece, that would be gone and across with no edge. Okay, so I soon got rid of that idea. At the time I thought it was, God, it's nice and sharp, which it is. It's nice and sharp right up until bing, that happens. Okay, so I got rid of that. How I like to sharpen it is this one here. Okay, just a slight edge and a long face right up to the top. Nice straight face right up to the top. So I started putting this edge on it, and where I felt this helped was, instead of, if I accidentally crossed it again, instead of a big chunk like this coming out of the edge of the blade, the tip of the blade, it was a little cross like this. Therefore it was a lot easier to tidy up. You still have a mongrel of a day, but it's a lot easier to tidy that up at home than this. The other thing with this is, when this happens and you're filing it out, you're running your blade out of life. Okay, you're taking the life away from your blade, therefore your blade's not going to last longer. Okay, so that's how I like them, just a nice edge like that. Next one. The edge is too long. Right. So the edge is too long. It's an edge that looks like this one. Okay, so if you can imagine, this is cutting open your barge. Your wood has to travel along that edge first before it comes down to the face, and then goes along there. Okay, it makes things a little bit harder to get that branch off. Alright, another reason why I like a small edge instead of a long one. But like I say, people might be comfortable with a long one. Pruners, I mean. Next one. The edge is too steep. Okay, this is an exaggeration of the picture, so you get the idea. So what happens here is, when your edge cuts into the wood, it's forcing the wood up in this direction. Okay, so you're missing a lot of this, a lot of your face. It will eventually come down onto your face, but it makes things a lot harder when your edge is too steep, because your wood is going up instead of traveling, you know, a nice over a little edge and then straight onto the face as soon as possible, because that face is the one that opens up that wood. So you want to be on that face as soon as possible. Right? So a steep edge is not for me. Your next one. Okay, this is a rounded face. Right? This is where, instead of being flat where this dotted line is, it's rounded. Right? So again, what happens? It cuts open the wood, then it travels along the face, but the full use of the face is not getting used. Okay, so where it dips down over here, all this part here is not getting used to open up that wood. Alright, so again, for me, that makes things harder, and you're trying to make this job as easy as possible. Right? Especially for me. Okay, I'm not a big guy, so I relied on my technique a lot more than strength, and it's got me through. Okay, last one. 2 edges. I doubt that it'll happen, but I probably wouldn't advise that either, having 2 edges. If you've got one edge here and it's nice and sharp and it's getting through that wood, it's opening up that wood, you shouldn't have any issues. Okay, so you don't really want 2 edges. Right, now the sharpening of it. Okay, if you've watched my maintenance maintaining your pruners, then you would see the stones that I've showed on there. Those are the type of stones that you need. It's up to you. I have a diamond stone at home and just a normal stone at work. But in general, it's a nice flat face. Okay, and this part here, where your edges, that's the part. That's the important part, and that's the part you have to get right. So I'm just going to move this back a bit, and I'm going to show you just how I get my edge done with this blade, with just this blade, and I'll have it just down like that. Okay, you can see that edge on there. That's way too far for me. Let's see how it goes down here. Boom, and then it sort of dips down, but then that's the cross too. That's the cross that's making that look like that. Right. So we'll say I've got a stone in my hand. I'll just use this for an example. Okay, this there has got to be, this is your face, that's got to be flat. Right. You've got to have that flat, nice and flat, all the way from the tip right down into this back piece over here, right down into this piece, nice and flat all the way. Okay, once you get that, then you work on your edge. Okay. When I'm doing my edge with my stone, I come like this. I come down on it. Okay, so I go up, down. 2, when I'm holding my stone on the edge, so I'm right on the tip of it. I'm not very far off that face. Okay, not very far at all off that face. Just a little bit. You can see that little bit of a gap behind my finger here. It's probably too much. Maybe come down a little bit more. Maybe around about there. Okay, I wouldn't have it up here like this. That's too steep. Okay, down. Right there, and I would run that up and down, trying to hold that as best I can, that angle. Okay. A lot of guys, they'll do the edge like this. Okay, I can't do it that way. I like to run my edge down, so I know I'm hitting everywhere. I know I'm hitting that edge, and I'm hitting it evenly, or trying to hit it even at the same time. Now I will run that edge until I get what's called a feather. Okay, so I'll run this up and down. The steel will go nice and fine, and then there'll be a burr on this side. Okay, there'll be a burr on this side of the blade. Now you want that burr to run from the bottom all the way to the tip. Okay, when you've got that burr from the bottom to the tip, you know all that steel is at its finest. Okay, you don't want a burr here in this area, then you'll go along and then there's no burr. Okay, or a burr here, and then you go along, there's no burr here. You want that burr to run all the way along that blade. Okay, the other thing is, how you feel that burr is you put your thumb or your finger on the back of it and you push into it. Okay. And you'll feel this pull. You'll feel a pull on your thumb. So you should be able to feel that pull all the way down. Okay. And what you have to be careful of is you have to keep checking all the time. Okay. So you'll be here, and you'll go like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. Check, nothing. Go back, again, up and down, up and down, up and down, check, then all of a sudden you'll feel a burr. Oh good, I've got a burr up there, but then I've got nothing down the bottom. So you go down to the bottom and you work that bottom, up and down, up and down, up and down, check, right, I've got a burr all the way along my blade. As soon as you get that burr, don't do any more, right? Because if you start doing more and more and more, what you're doing is you're taking life away from the blade. Okay, so as soon as you get that burr, bang, stop. Next thing to do, put your stone on the other side and file that burr off. See, you might do one swipe, two swipes, have a feel, yep, it's gone. It you may have burred it and it's gone over the other side. Okay, so you give it another little swipe there. Okay, you're just looking to swipe that burr off until there's nothing on both sides. It's not hard, it's just a light rub till there's nothing on both sides. Once you do that, then you run your thumb along the top and you'll feel your edge and you'll feel how sharp it is. Okay, and then once you've got that, that's it. Give it a go, have a try. That's probably the best I can do. Hopefully everyone's gets an understanding of what I'm trying to get across. If there may be other fellows out there who have different ideas, yeah, put them in the comments. We're all learning, right? Yeah, there may be things out there that I don't know of, but like I say, this is just a start. It's just a basic start, and we're all trying to achieve an easier day, really, in the end. Okay, trying to make that day as easy as possible. Okay, so with that being said, best of luck, and see you in the next video.